Hello everyone, this is the second part of my SolidWorks 2011 tutorial. So right now we're going to be doing an assembly, and we're going to also take a quick look at PhotoView 360. So what you want to do, you want to open up a new part and click on Extruded Boss Base. Want to select the front plane, and you want a rectangle, a center rectangle, beginning on the origin, and you smart dimension it to 120 on each side. And this is all millimeters, by the way. And then click the check. So you want to exit the sketch, and it's boss extrude. You want to extrude it to 90 millimeters. And you want to also click on hidden lines visible right here, and click on the features and fillet. So you want to fillet this, sorry, not that edge. You want to fillet this edge, this edge right here, and this edge. And you want it to fillet at 10 millimeters. And you click the check. So now click on hidden lines removed right here. And then on the features bar, click shell, and select the front face right here, and under the parameters here, select 4 millimeters. And click that. So you might want to save it right now. So save it as part 2. You can name it whatever you want. So we're done doing that. And now what we want to do is go to, or click on zoom to area right here. Zoom in on this area here. Click it again. Select the front face of the wall right here. Select extruded cut, and convert entities right here. So then you want to click the check, and now you want to click on the front face again, like the actual front face right here. And click on offset entities, and under offset distance put 2, and click on reverse. And now click the check. So now you want to click exit sketch, and you want to cut extrude to 20 millimeters, and click OK. And now you could do shaded with edges. Now we're back to our normal color. So we'll save it again, since we're now going to be doing an assembly. Alright, so now we're going to our assembly, so you want to click New and Assembly, which is the one right below Part. So to get to your assembly, so you want to browse, click on Browse for now, and select Part 1, or whatever you named it before, and just place it anywhere. Then click on Insert Components and select Part 2, and just put it anywhere really. And now you want to click on Part 1 actually, or this Part 2, and place it beside here. And you also want to right click, move with triad, and it'll show up all of this stuff here. So you want it to have like in 90 degrees. So now click zoom to fit, and you might want to like move the part somewhere like a bit below. So now you want to click on Mate, and for this you actually want to you might want to rotate your view a bit. Okay, so now you want to mate this edge, the very top edge right here, with this edge right here. And you'd have coincident, and you'd click there. So now you want to press cancel. You may want to rotate your view again. And so now you want to select the side, or select mate again, select this side and mate to mate here, and click the plus, or check actually, and now you want to mate top with top, and there you go. Now you want, so you've clicked OK. So now you want to save your assembly as anything you really want it to be. So now you are basically done with your assembly, but if you really wanted to, like, you could switch the view, see how it is, and like trimetric, dimetric, isometric. Not gonna go into that right now. But what I am going to do is show you PhotoView 360. So to get to that, you would want to have probably saved your assembly, and you'd want to click on this appearances, scenes, and decals area. You click on that, click on the plus under appearances color, and you have all these different different appearances that you could choose from. Unless you actually want these two colors, you probably wouldn't want to use those. Like, you might want to have a steel, and there's all these different types of steels. You might want aluminum or something like that. There's a whole bunch of pretty cool ones, including some pretty what I'd consider useless for most applications, like grass, skin. I don't exactly see how that'd really work, but so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an aluminum, and I'm gonna have a blue anodized aluminum. However, I want this part right here, this part here, and this part here to be a different kind of aluminum. I want it to be brushed aluminum. So you do brushed aluminum, or sorry, not brushed aluminum. We want blue anodized here. You want this part, and this part to be brushed aluminum. So you click here, click here, click here, click here, click here. And then you drag your selected item onto there. And now for the rest, you would select blue anodized. However, that does not seem to be working currently. So I will stop this right now. Alright, so now we're going to do PhotoView 360. So what you want to do, you want to click on appearances, scenes, and decals, and you would want to click on this appearances color. You want to click the plus. Whichever material you want, you click the plus on that. I happen to want a metal. I'll choose steel, and I'll do a cast stainless steel. That seems nice. And I want this part to be sandblasted steel. So actually I'll have the entire thing be sandblasted steel, but I want just the specific parts. So just click wherever you want your stuff to be, and say polished steel. And now what you want to do, you may not have your PhotoView 360 up and running right now. That's alright. You can go into options, add-ins, select PhotoView 360, and select startup, and then click OK. Now in render tools, you have a new tab called render tools, by the way. You want to select options. So you can have a whole bunch of different formats. You can have, like, I'm gonna select 1280 by 1024, and I'll just keep it as JPEG. If you want a really good quality render, then you want maximum, but for now I'll actually just choose maximum. And you don't really need a good, you can have a good preview render quality. You don't need maximum. It just really amp up the render time. So you click OK, and now you select final render, and that's actually a pretty good idea. So I'll just abort the render as soon as it starts so that I can change the view. So you'd probably want to have it in perspective mode before you do your final render. So here's your final render. It'll have irradiance prepasses, so you'll have 4 of them right here. And you'll have 4 of irradiance prepasses, and whenever the prepasses are done, then you'll start to see some like little boxes. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll show you once they come up. And depending on the complexity of the material that you choose, the render will take a different time. So if you choose, say, perforated rubber, for example, that will take a really long time. But if you choose something like this, it won't take as long, like a steel, for example, because it's a lot easier to render. Right now it's doing prepass 3 of 4, and as you can see, it's smaller and smaller dots. It's just filling in as many holes as it can possibly do. And the render time might also be affected by the amount of polygons in your image, and it may, I'm not sure, but it may be affected by the size of the image. A render about like this probably will take about 5 to 7 minutes. So just wait for it to just start rendering, I guess. And while it's still rendering, we can see this is just the good image that hasn't been fully rendered yet, and this is the one that's going to be rendered. So it's taken about 3 minutes. So shouldn't really be taking too long, but it mostly depends on the material. And this next prepass should take just a couple minutes at most. So this prepass, it's like the final one, is just sorting out everything. So after this, everything should be pretty much done. Alright, so here are the little boxes that are doing the rendering right now. It's been about 6 minutes, and it's turning out pretty well, actually. So here's our sandblasted steel. You might not be able to see from the texture right now, but I'll show you once it's fully rendered, and then it'll probably be a lot easier for you guys to see. So it's about 3 more minutes for the render to be over. It'll say how much is remaining over here, and it should take about that long. It's normally not inaccurate unless you have a really complex material. And you can also like play with light samples a bit, though it'll probably alter the image that you've like set up. It'll like it'll mess with the light colors, and I just wouldn't really recommend messing with those settings unless you know what you're doing. And this kind of seems pretty good for the purposes of this learning. So yeah, still about 3 minutes to go. And also, if you want, you could like save it at the final color output or the alpha output. The alpha output would be like the black and white. It'll either be completely black or completely white, because that's just the way it works, I guess. And it'll save, if you do save layered image, it'll save both the color output and the alpha output. And if you just do save image, it'll do whichever one you've selected. And the gamma, you could probably, like, you don't really want to mess with that too much, but if you really feel like messing with it, it should be kept within like the 1 to 1.6 range. So as you can see, it's kind of gone up from where the original estimate has been. It's 4 minutes now to completion. And thankfully there's not a whole lot of shape left, and it's going pretty fast. And if you have a higher resolution image, this black thing should not be here. Like if you have a 1920 by 1080 resolution, it won't be there. So if it's showing up, it shouldn't be anything to worry about, because this part that's rendering, this part that's kind of covered in dots, and that hasn't been rendered yet, that's the part that's actually the image. This black part will not be part of the image. So it's taking a little bit longer than I anticipated it would be. It normally takes about 5 to 7 minutes. It's taken about 10 for the render. So if if you wanted to like skip to the part where I actually like show the full image, now might be a fairly decent time to do so, because I'm not really going to be talking much the rest of this. Thankfully it's almost done. It's more than halfway done rendering right now. So it shouldn't take too much longer. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna stop the video right here and like show you the completed image. Alright, so our image has finally been rendered. It took about 23.5 minutes because my computer was really slow for some reason. So we'll save the image and just put it on the desktop for now, and name it, save it, and here's our image. So it's pretty realistic at the best settings. So, right, there's the tutorial for PhotoView 360, and yeah, so I guess it's done now.